Alright, today we're going to look at two different runs. The first one here is in Turtle Pack, and it is not me playing, as you can probably tell from the fact that it says top 5% ranked versus on the left hand side, and it also says Flame 96 at the bottom. So this run was posted as a replay in the Discord. I went ahead and recorded it, and then just the other day I checked with Flame to make sure it was okay that I used his run for the video. And he didn't have any problem with that, so much appreciated, Flame. This does save me having to play some more Turtle Pack to make sure I continue to post regular Turtle Pack gameplay on the channel. At this point in his SAP career, Flame is mostly playing Versus as far as I understand it. So he is still a part of the community, he just hasn't uploaded any arena videos for a while. Maybe post in the comments if you want to see Flame uploading again. I know I do. For a long time it was part of my SAP routine to watch whatever Flame had uploaded most recently. Usually something grotesque that was going to upset me, but his soothing voice made it all worthwhile. So what is Flame going to be doing here? Well, if you've never watched his channel before, he was known creating a lot of 5-of-a-kind runs. In fact, there was a while where between the two of us we were basically uploading almost nothing but 5-of-a-kinds for a long time. Of course, eventually you do want to branch out and do other things, but it was a good run that we spent on this stuff. And eventually Turtle Pack did get completed, I think. All of the 5-of-a-kinds have been done in this pack at least once, and I think they all have video evidence as well. The link to my website will be in the description if you want to go and check, but I'm pretty sure all of them have been done. Of course, to say that some of them are done is a bit misleading because certain pets have had ability changes multiple times. And one of the ones we're looking at on screen right now is definitely in that category, and it is the crab. So crab has had a bunch of different abilities at this point. Some of them I can't even really remember exactly the order that they appeared in. But for a while, crab was one of the easier 5-of-a-kinds in Turtle because it used to work on buy. So you could scale one crab up to be absolutely massive, and then you could buy another crab and it would copy the health permanently. And obviously that was pretty abusable, so it ended up getting changed. But it was kind of funny at the time, being able to just instantly copy a huge amount of health with a tier 2 unit. I think it was always tier 2, I don't remember it being a higher tier than that. Although I didn't actually start playing SAP right at the very beginning, so maybe it has been a higher tier in the past. But the current version of crab is, I think, still pretty solid. The way it works now is that instead of copying the health, it copies a percentage and adds it on to its own stats. Which is in some cases better than its old ability, because it does mean that you can use splash food and so on without worrying about stats getting wasted on the crab. So I don't know if that really has panned out to be a nerf or not. I think the bulldog change was probably enough to fix that particular broken combo in customs. Here's someone else with rabbit that has buffed up this blowfish to a pretty big size, but the double crab gets the job done. Now, I should mention that this replay is actually slightly, I don't know, corrupted maybe is the correct term. I actually recorded this after an update, and I wasn't expecting it to work, but it did. The one caveat being that before the update, cake did not exist as a food item in Turtle Pack. So there are actually some turns here where you see Flame rolling cake, but it wasn't actually in the shop. So I'm not entirely sure what would have been in the shop instead, but I did double check with his original screenshot that he posted, and sure enough, it looked like everything was normal otherwise. So I am still going to count this as evidence that Flame completed the 5 of a kind with the current crab ability on the website. And it is kind of satisfying watching the crab chain, gain such a huge amount of stats at the start of battle, especially since 4 of them are level 1. Alright, quick intermission here as we talk about the web store. There's an update going to be coming to this fairly soon, but I thought I would show this example first where I'm logged in as my own account, and the only items left are these entrances, which I never use. But what we're going to do is we're going to check out with them to support Rev. Maybe I should have picked someone else. I think Rev is independently wealthy, isn't he? As we scroll down, you can actually see that the text at the bottom says gifts are sent inside the Super Auto Pets app by logging in and then go to Packs, Give Gifts. Now, the web store doesn't currently support buying gifts, but it will do soon, which is great news because now if we return to the shop, we can see that I don't actually have anything left to buy. So very much looking forward to that, and thanks to Team Wood for making it happen. Alright, on with the next run, and having watched that Flame run a couple of times through, I decided that I was going to try and replicate it in customs. So I made a quick custom pack. It's not very difficult to make a pack where you're trying to abuse the crab's ability, because it's pretty strong and there are a lot of ways to get health very early. So that's basically all I did, was loaded up the pack with a bunch of options to get multiple crabs, which is why we've got the guinea pig here, which we can potentially transform into another crab. And then I also added nachos, which is a new perk, which is I think is kind of entertaining. I'm not sure how relevant it's going to be in this actual run, but originally the goal was for the chipmunk to give multiple nachos to the crabs once I buy them. I don't think that's going to happen though, if I remember rightly. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Customs for a while had a bit of a problem with the proliferation of crab plus bulldog. So the original bulldog ability, or one of the previous bulldog abilities, was to gain attack based on its own health. So you could have a 1-attack bulldog that had a huge amount of health, and then once the bulldog attacked, it would become a massive like 30-30 unit. And in order to maximize the effectiveness of that team, a lot of people played crab as the other unit. So as well as having the bulldog with very high health but almost no attack, you could have a crab that had very high attack and then copied the health from the bulldog. Now that build doesn't really exist anymore. I guess you can still do something pretty similar, but I don't see many people playing crab at all, to be honest. This is really funny here. Turn 5 facing 4 orangutans. Can't remember the last time I've seen an opposing team like that on turn 5. I hope they managed to get their 5 of a kind in the end, assuming that's what they were going for. But we end up getting a couple of crabs here, and then I think I'm going to wait. Okay, no, we convert the guinea pig into a sphinx. Unfortunately, it's not a crab. But since we have the proboscis monkey, we can just convert it again and hope that we get a crab at the second attempt. I'm not sure the nachos is doing a whole lot on the chipmunk at the moment, which is probably why I'm going to end up giving up on it. And then we end up getting another monkey, which doesn't really help too much. And I think at this point I'm now contemplating keeping the chipmunk long enough to put some better perks on it, like maybe chili. I think I maybe had lemon as well. I don't remember exactly with the contents of this pack. But what I will say is this is the one and only game that I played of this. Normally when I'm in customs, I spend ages trying to get a perfect recording. This one, when you're going for these types of runs, although it used to be very difficult going for these types of 5 of a kind games, these days it's pretty simple. There are so many ways to get duplicates of pets. You know, you've got all these transform foods, but you've also got bonobo as well, as we face not a game devlog. Actually, incredible spawn from the spider there. We get the level 2 skeleton dog, which gives both of the crabs +1/1 permanently. I think maybe at this point I'm about to give up on the chipmunk. That is, what, 3 or 4 transformations and we haven't had the crab yet. And we're still winning as well. So I think here I'm going to greed for the turkey buffs. And then maybe one more transformation with the chickpea. Here's someone else that has the has a versus plaque in the background. And yes, maybe fittingly we lose to them. So we get rid of the manatee. Yeah, okay, we're going to go for rice on chipmunk instead. Makes sense. I don't get the transformation I want. But I think now we can just... I should have sold the turkey with the rice on it there, to be honest. I'm not sure why I did that. But yeah, this is the kind of team where you would expect to get destroyed. Actually, okay, we are going to get destroyed. Not sure why I thought I was going to win there. They also had the Kraken. Maybe if they didn't have the Kraken to reduce the stats, we would have been okay. But yeah, the first krill produces a tomato. And we're just looking for duplicates, of course. Because we kept the rice, we can make the zebra cheaper. Are we going to be in trouble here? No. This is actually back in going for the Dirty Rat achievement. Nice to see. And we do the transform, but then it doesn't work out. However, there's no real need for me to be wasting gold on that when there's a bonobo in the shop. You know, we don't really need the level 2 crab, but then we also level up into Kets, and so the struggle to get levels on the additional crabs was just a complete waste of time, because the Quetzalcoatl is going to go wild with this team. We get demolished by Brax there. I've lost to that team so many times, or at least variations of that team. And yeah, we didn't have the equipment necessary. So I think here I am actually going to combine the base stats crab and then pill the blobfish so we can get a bunch of level 3s as soon as possible. Of course, like I said, we don't have to find crabs. We can find a bonobo and then we'll get a clone of a crab very easily. And it looks like we're going to get a free win here on turn 13. Even though we're on a 4 squad, that's just how good the crab ability can be. Yeah, of course the zebra is going to double hit Quetzalcoatl, which, yeah, 2 1 and 4s, but not surprising. So we get a bonobo, and now we just need one more crab or another bonobo. Here's Kyle playing hyena as per usual. Luckily, I think we're going to get away with it, yeah, because the tomato breaks the second hit of the white ochre. I think I'm just going to end up buying both of these perks. Even though I think I should, if I was really playing to try and get the 5 of a kind, like it was super important, that probably wasn't wise spending that gold there. I should have just rolled for the crab or the bonobo. Especially since you can't really use bonobo on the final turn. We have seen a few posts in the Discord recently of people failing to get a 5 of a kind because they still had a bonobo on board and they needed another draw. But it looks like we're just going to eke out a tie here, yeah. I was a little bit worried there when I saw that Monty team. But I think... Okay, that does give us a bit more time though to find another crab. And we do not find one. But we're very close to getting the full board of level 3s. Of course, the last crab we bring in is only going to be a level 1, but... I mean, when was the last time you saw a single level 3 crab instead of 4 of them? But the chili is very nice there. breaking 2 melons at once. That's 9, so we need to get rid of cats. We find the crab. And I think I'm just going to roll to see if I can get a bad dog, which we do. Evil book. It is going to remove the melon on the crab at the back, but it is only a 15 attack unit. And then this person's been playing this same team for quite some time. Presumably they're trying to get the Angry Pygmy Hog achievement and just aren't getting it across the line. And maybe should just take the pita bread here, although I guess the crab is going to have very high health anyway. So we roll down, buy the hot dog, and cross our fingers. And it's a scaling team. This probably is someone going for the flounder achievement. Or maybe it was a different tier 5 and it got transformed. But the crabs just do not have enough attack here. Yeah, I should have bought a few more steaks instead of those other food items. So let me know in the comments, what do you think is the easiest 5 of a kind in either Turtle Pack or Customs in the current version of the game?